Whilst our job here is to get you the best mortgage that we possibly can, a lot of the questions that customers ask us are actually about the process. So this is our 10-step guide to buying a property. So every customer that inquires with us qualifies for a free initial mortgage consultation. So this is a process that we call Know Your Customer. Every customer has got their own individual circumstances, and normally there's a question about criteria or something unique about your circumstances that you want to know to question whether or not you can qualify for a mortgage. So what we do during this call is take some basic information from you to take away and do some research to see if we can find a suitable lender for you. These first initial consultations can be by video or telephone call. One of the ways that lenders try to differentiate themselves from each other is on the affordability assessment. So lender A could quite conceivably lend significantly more or less than lender B. There's all sorts of different things that go into this calculation. For example, how much you earn, which if you're an employee is your basic salary plus your bonus, commission and overtime on top of that. If you're self-employed, that could be your net profit or salary plus dividends. Now deducted from that are things like the number of dependent children that you have, student loans, car finance, credit cards as well. So during this bit of the calculation, we'll work out your maximum borrowing capability, and it's really important that you do this ahead of starting to look for a property, because otherwise you could be looking for things that are way outside of your price range. When you make an offer on a property, the estate agent will want to see that you're in a position to proceed, because they don't want to waste the seller's time when they could have been selling the property to someone else. So they're certain to ask you for a document called an agreement in principle. That's where we found a suitable lender for you, and they've run their credit check to say, yes, you qualify for this mortgage. So you could say this is a bit like the golden ticket to actually buying the property that you want to buy. So we assess your situation, calculate your affordability, run the credit check, and if you're successful, issue you with an agreement in principle certificate that you can show to any prospective seller to show that you're in a position to proceed. Buying a property is a bit like a game of two halves. So for the first half you're with us arranging the finance, and for the second half we hand you over to the solicitor to complete the legal aspects of the purchase. So why is it so early up in the process? Well, the reason is the mortgage lender will need to know which solicitor you're using on the application form, so you need to have it in place. But there's not much they can be doing early on other than request local searches. That's where they write to the local authority to see, for example, if any planning permission has gone in the area. So once the mortgage is actually offered, we hand you over to the solicitor to complete the legal aspects of the purchase, and they'll be able to tell you, for example, who's responsible for what boundaries, walls and fences, and check that the person selling the property does actually own it. So you've chosen your solicitor and you've got your mortgage agreed in principle. Next, it's the exciting bit, which is actually going to find a property and making an offer. So this can feel a bit daunting. Now, it depends what the state of the market is here. So when it's a seller's market, you're probably going to have to pay closer to the asking price, and when there are more properties out there, it's a buyer's market and you might have more chance of a successful negotiation. This is where the agreement in principle really comes in, because if you can put your offer forward and say to the seller that you're in a position to proceed quickly, because for example you're a first time buyer or you're a homeowner that's already sold their property, they're more likely to sell it to you than somebody else. Whilst we'll be relying on the information that you provide as being absolutely correct, so you don't want to misrepresent your situation, you will need to prove certain things about your situation to the bank when you come to apply for your mortgage. So you're going to be sending us in ID, which is ideally a passport, something like a photo ID, proof of address, which ideally is a driving licence or recent bill, pay slips or your accounts to prove your earnings, evidence of your deposit, and also 3 months worth of bank statements. And the lender will want to see good conduct of those bank statements, so they want to see your income coming in and no bounced direct debits or not too much in terms of gambling. So once you sent your documents in to us, we assess them in-house as if we were the lender, because what we're trying to do here is predict any possible hurdles, anything the lender's not going to like about your bank statements or proof of your ID. So we're checking all this very forensically in-house, because what we don't want to do is submit your application to a lender for it to get declined and then we're back to square one having to find a different lender for you. So you sent your information in, we check it, and once we're happy, we submit the formal application into the lender, and that's when your deal is locked and the process is very much underway. At the same time that we submit your formal mortgage application to the lender, you need to choose which survey you want to go for: a level 1 basic valuation, level 2 home buyers report, or level 3 full structural survey. With the level 1 basic valuation, the valuer is just going to say, is the property worth what you're paying for it, yes or no? And actually, someone might not even visit the property to do that assessment. Level 2 is a home buyer's report, where someone actually physically does go out to inspect the property. That's usually outsourced to a local valuer. They'll go out and inspect each room, and they'll alert you to anything that's wrong with the property. And you do get some consumer protection with this. So for example, if the surveyor fails to mention the damp patch in the corner of the kitchen or the big crack up the side of the house, then you have got some redress there. Level 3 is a full structural survey. So this is normally for older properties that might be in some sort of state of disrepair, where you want a much more in-depth report doing, War and Peace, and you get a big chunky report back to make your decision whether this is the right property for you or not. So you've sent all your documents in, the application's been submitted, the lender has approved your application, the survey has been done, and this is the day that we've all been waiting for. It's when the lender makes their formal mortgage offer. And the formal mortgage offer lasts for 6 months, so from that date, you've got 6 months to complete the purchase, and the solicitor now carries out the legal aspects. So we'll hand you over at this point to the solicitor to carry out all the legal work that is required, but of course, we'll be here for you to rely on and contact if ever you need anything. So once your solicitor's got back all the answers to the inquiries that they've raised with the seller solicitors, they'll exchange contracts and set a date for completion. And that's the day that you get the keys and you can move in. You'll get a letter from the mortgage lender confirming the first mortgage payment and when that's going to go out of your bank. And also on this day, it's important that you have all your insurance in place as well. So that's the end of our 10-step guide to buying property. Hope you found it useful and informative. If you need any more information, please visit our website or our YouTube channel. And when you're ready to take step 1, book in that free initial consultation.